Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, whichever is currently applicable in your time zone. I am Max, and I will be talking to you about basics of Desynced that you were not exactly told during the tutorial. Today, we will start with basics, such as units and components. There are few things that new player to Desynced will not think of. First of all, there is little to no functional difference between buildings and mobile units. As such, unless specified later on, I will be using these two interchangeably. However, as we're talking here about the difference from the perspective of a new player, let's start with basics. Everything that you can fit on a unit, such as mobile unit, here, or a scout, can be fit on a building, and vice versa. There is no such thing as component unique to either unit or a building. Let me show you. During the tutorial, you are told to use a fabricator on a building, or headquarters, command center if you prefer. Let us slap it on our starter unit, as this is S-sized component. You may see that our command center, mobile command center, has M-sized socket. So why shouldn't we, or why couldn't we, put fabricator on a scout? Scout has a small socket. Well, we can. And as you can see, our small scout can gather items, move around, and smelt metal plates.
We will require a large quantity.
Additionally, as we've shown now that scouts can smelt or act as mobile factory, can we do the opposite? Let's grab a building, simple building really. In fact, our mobile command center will act as normally a scout would, just to show it can. In the meantime, I will grab some materials, gather some more metal, I'm using scattered resources now as they are much quicker to pick up. You don't have to wait until they're mined. And, as promised, let's grab the scout and plop mining turret on our new building. So let's order it to mine the crystal chunk. Et voila! As you can see, our building is now stationary miner. Obvious question now becomes, so what's the point of making buildings in the first place? Why shouldn't you use units alone? Well, first of all, you can. There is a trend in Desynced, at least as a challenge, to play as a Nomad faction. Faction without stationary buildings. And this is possible, quite reasonably. We already have here a scout, right? So let us make an assembler just to show you that it is indeed possible. Unfortunately, we will need some more metal. Let's grab it.
To produce more mining units.
And we can create an assembler. unfortunately, we have only one unit with M-sized socket for now. And that is Mobile Command Center. This limits us to using assembler only on the large large crawler or Mobile Command Center. Mobile Command Center also has a lot of storage areas. So let me first show you that, in fact, this assembler on a unit is fully functional. So let's make a single, something cheap preferably. Or better yet, let's make a single fabricator. And as you can see, everything is working as intended. As our processing is in progress, let me tell you why you would still prefer to use buildings, or why you may prefer to use buildings rather than mobile units. Buildings tend to have more slots, larger slots on average. That includes both storage and component slots. However, they trade off with ability to move. There is only one functional difference between buildings and units when not counting the ability to move. Basically, buildings cannot transport objects by themselves outside. For that, they will need to use either a unit or, later on, one of the technologies allows us to use short-range teleporter. And due to that reason, when working with logistics network, buildings cannot be set as a transporter because they lack the ability to move. So, as you have seen, we managed to build us an assembler. And just to make sure I'm not cheating here, let me quickly build in the background additional components. Now, why would you prefer? As I've said, mostly the internal slots and storage slots, that is. So, let us see the difference. Our Mobile Command Center has 2 medium slots, 2 internal slots. One internal, unfortunately, is locked by packed command center, and 8 storage slots. If we were to deploy it, you will see that the number changed. First, the amount of cargo increased by 4 slots, just as a payment for lack of ability to move. Also, we now have 3 internal slots rather than 2, and the forced slot was also removed. As I've said, every component can be used interchangeably. This is a power cell. It is used as your starter hardware, and in demo it is unique. Let's slap it on a scout and turn on the power grid overlay. As you can see now, it is not the command center that is providing the power to the grid. It is the power cell. Here you can see that, unfortunately, we run out of energy. Or rather, we will run out of energy quite quickly. So, knowing that components are interchangeable, and there is no much difference between buildings and units. Let us go to the second video, in which I will talk about registers and values.